Well, a very conciliatory speech. Some of the key words from his speech: science, empathy, concern, truth. Let's just take a look. Science, empathy, truth. Some of the key words from the Trump camp: fake, China, Kafifi. I never thought it would be possible to get this excited about Joe Biden winning an election, but this was a nail-biter. Slow and sleepy wins the race. I've loved every minute. Days of watching the numbers come in. John King on CNN, what a ledge. Doing all the results for just days on end. Pennsylvania's closing fast. Nevada up by 0.6, ahead by 1,500 votes. It's like a fucking cattle auctioneer. Key race alert, Hawks County, switching blue, lost by Clinton. Biden up by 5,000 votes. Georgia on a knife edge. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if he's always in that little studio forever. And when it's all over and we switch over, he just stays there for 4 years going, key race alert, too close to call, Biden up by 0.3%, until we tune in 4 years later. And he just hasn't stopped. It's all to play for. By about Thursday, I was tripping my balls off on the minutiae of electoral processes in Georgia. For days, nothing happening for an hour or so, and the page is refreshing itself, but I'm doing it manually anyway in case it helps. It's the fucking numbers. I just love the fucking numbers. And I think that's why Trump has had such a hard time accepting the result, because it involves numbers. Adding numbers, 2, 7, 9, too many bigly numbers. This wasn't a rout, and it should have been. You know, he should have wiped the floor with Trump after 4 years of chaos and lies and imprisonment of multiple high-level Trump officials and dog whistle racism and 250,000 COVID deaths. It should have been easy. But there's been something quite beautiful about watching Trump's presidency being slowly euthanized by cold, hard numbers and irrefutable facts. Not so much going out with a bang, but an untrustworthy liquid fart. It's so Trump, isn't it, to shit himself when faced with the truth. For days, I'm marveling at the humble majesty of democracy in action as every vote was counted and Trump just takes a steaming dump over the whole process. Real panic mode, toys being thrown out of the pram at an unprecedented level. Never before has a teddy bear been launched into orbit by the sheer intensity of a tantrum. Interesting, isn't it? Global pandemic killing hundreds and thousands of American citizens. It'll go away like a miracle. But when they're threatening to take away his personal Marine helicopter, he springs into action, shouting fraud and fakery at anything he doesn't like the look of, tweeting demonstrable shit and then going for a round of golf. And it's served him well over the last 4 years. But every tweet he now puts out is an example of when yesterday's news doesn't realise it's yesterday's news. I am so happy that Trump is so awful in defeat, to watch him finally expose that he really is a despot without any reverence for the machinery of democracy or American values, that he is less a president, more a petulant child. It is so gratifying to see Republicans slowly walk back 2 steps backwards into the shadows, and those that back up his calls of fraud looking more out of touch with reality by the minute. A joy to watch a mainstream media that for 4 years struggled to call a lie, and allow Trump to use their platforms to spread those lies, finally call him out for what he is, a liar. When even Fox News says he's talking divisive, dangerous nonsense at the podium, it's game over. It is so satisfying to see that his legal strategy, or lack thereof, involves a hastily arranged press conference hosted by tiny-dicked rat boy Rudy Giuliani, looking like Danny DeVito's penguin, in a car park next to a funeral director's and a pawn shop. The poetic imagery is almost too much to bear. This is what the end of a Trump presidency looks like. Not an ounce of dignity in sight, and all the better for it. In so many respects, I'd have preferred the Democrats to have easily turned the Senate and have done better in the House, but the fact that Republicans did okay means that people were voting against Donald Trump in this election, but not necessarily against his party. They want to change their president, not their politics, so there is much work to be done in that respect. But it feels beautiful that they want him gone, that they want a president who won't govern by Twitter, who'll take COVID seriously, who'll maybe make headway with climate change, who can restore America's reputation on the world stage, a reputation that Trump has left in tatters. Just look at who on the world stage are casting doubt on Biden's win, or who are at least silent on Trump's loss. Far-right Estonian politicians, Bolsonaro, Putin has kept his mouth shut, Erdogan silent. It tells you all you need to know. According to Trump, Putin is smart, Bolsonaro is a gentleman, and as well as imposing state-sanctioned famine on his people, Kim Jong-un also, according to the president, writes beautiful letters. Lovely. Meanwhile, the EU is the US's biggest foe, Canada is slightly delinquent, the World Health Organization is China's puppet. But he's never been a great judge of character, has he? Really, let's be honest. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, nasty woman. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, nasty woman. Alleged child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, I wish her well. Bye-bye, dickhead. Bye-bye. Well, still nothing from President Trump, apart from on Twitter, of course, but it seems that he's spending most of his time either watching Fox News or on the golf course. If you were being facetious, I guess you could say no change there. The president-elect, however, has hit the ground.